The first part of the digestive tract is the mouth. Mouth is guarded by a pair of lips. Lips helps in speaking and also they help in opening the mouth cavity. The second part is known as buccal cavity. It is also known as oral cavity or mouth cavity. Let us discuss the structure of the buccal cavity through a model. This is the model of the mouth cavity. You can see here I have opened the lower jaw. We have considered this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. And both the jaws are supported by the teeth. This is the roof of the buccal cavity, that is known as palate, and this is the floor of the buccal cavity. So, the front part of the palate is known as the hard palate, whereas the back part of the palate is known as soft palate. Front part means the anterior part and back part means the posterior part. This is the floor of the buccal cavity that consists of the tongue. The tongue is posterior in position, that means this tongue arises from the back part of the floor of the buccal cavity. And we can find here different types of the teeth. What are the different types of teeth? These are known as incisor, canine, premolars and molar. So, these four kinds of teeth are arranged in the gum and this is known as dentition. So, dentition means the arrangement of the teeth in the gum. So, let us see what are the four kinds of teeth. The front teeth are the incisors. Then lateral to the incisor are present the canines. Lateral to the canine are present the premolars and next to the premolars are the molars. So, we can write the dental formula. What is dental formula? The arrangement of the teeth in the jaw, that means when we consider only one half of each of the jaw. So, let us write the dental formula of an adult human. In an adult human, the dental formula is 2, 1, 2, 3 by 2, 1, 2, 3. That means if we consider one half of the jaw, then these two indicates, these are the two incisors, this one indicates one canine, these two indicates the two premolars and these three indicates the three molars. That's why it is written, this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. So, how many teeth are present in human body? If we multiply into 2, so total we are getting 32 number of teeth. So, if we count the number, we can find these are 32 in human body. The tongue, which is a highly muscular structure and it helps in speaking, it also helps in manipulation of the food, it helps in formation of the food bolus so that food bolus can enter into the pharynx, that is the next region. Let us study the structure of an incisor tooth with the help of a model. An incisor tooth consists of the outer part which is known as enamel. Inner to the enamel is the dentine. At the center is present the pulp. So, the visible part of the tooth is known as the crown and the part of the tooth that is hidden, that is called the root. This is the vertical section of the incisor tooth. The outer hardest part is known as the enamel and inner to the enamel is present the dentine. We can find here the minute protoplasmic canals or channels which communicate with the pulp cavity. At the center is present the pulp cavity, which consists of the soft connective tissue that includes the blood capillaries, the lymph vessels and also the nerve fibers. This is the jawbone and this is the socket or the bony socket through which the teeth, this particular tooth is embedded. This is the bony socket into which this tooth. So, the buccal cavity consists of 3 pairs of salivary glands. These are number 1 parotid glands, second submandibular glands, third sublingual glands. Let us know where are these located. The parotid gland, which is the largest salivary gland, it is located in the front and the beneath of each of the ear, whereas submandibular gland is located very close to the inner side of the lower jaw on each side, because these are present in a pair. Sublingual glands are present below the tongue, because tongue is known as lingual organ. So, what is the function of these glands? All these 3 salivary glands secrete saliva, and saliva is secreted in the mouth cavity. Because the salivary glands are exocrine glands, saliva which is secreted in the mouth cavity, that is slightly acidic. It contains a very important enzyme that is called as salivary amylase, that is the digestive enzyme, which is also known as ptyalin. Saliva also helps in lubricating the food, it acts as a solvent and also it helps in forming the food bolus, so that easily the food bolus can enter into the next region, that is the pharynx. It helps in cleansing the mouth cavity also. Let us know the function of the salivary amylase. Starch in the mouth cavity is chewed thoroughly with the help of saliva, because saliva provides an acidic medium and also it adds moisture to the food, so that the process of digestion is started in the mouth cavity. So, 40% digestion of the starch occurs in the mouth cavity. So, starch is converted to maltose in presence of the enzyme ptyalin. Ptyalin is also known as salivary amylase. So, in this process what happens? Starch is converted to maltose. Starch is a polysaccharide, whereas maltose is a disaccharide. Poly means many, di means 2. So, polysaccharide is converted to disaccharide. Let us know the next part of the buccal cavity, that is known as pharynx. Pharynx is a structure or a vertical chamber. It consists of 2 openings. One opening is of the opening of digestive tract, another opening is of the opening of the respiratory tract. That means food passes through the pharynx and also air passes through the pharynx. That means pharynx is called the common passage both for food and also for air. So, the opening of the alimentary canal is known as the gullet. That means it is the opening of the esophagus, whereas the opening of the respiratory tract, that means to the larynx, is known as glottis. So, glottis is supported by the epiglottis. That means when the food enters into the pharynx, at that time epiglottis closes the glottis, that is why it restricts the food to enter into the respiratory tract. So, food cannot pass into the larynx, rather than food passes into the esophagus through the gullet. So, opening of the respiratory tract is known as glottis. Opening of the esophagus is known as gullet. So, opening of the respiratory tract is known as glottis, opening of the digestive tract is known as gullet, but glottis is supported by epiglottis. So, what is the function of epiglottis? Epiglottis helps in closing the glottis so that it prevents the entry of the food into the respiratory tract. So, gullet, it leads into the esophagus. How to describe the structure of esophagus? Esophagus is a narrow and highly muscular tubular structure, and as it is highly muscular, the wall is supported by involuntary muscles. It helps in carrying out the process of peristalsis. The circular muscles of the esophagus helps in constriction and relaxation, which helps in the passage of the food bolus from one part of the esophagus to the other part and by the process of peristalsis. But remember one thing, esophagus does not secrete any enzymes. So, no enzymatic action starts in the esophagus. So, we came to know that the mouth cavity is the place that is suitable for the digestion of carbohydrate. So, carbohydrate digestion is started in the mouth cavity, but neither protein nor fat digestion is started in the mouth cavity. So, now the food enters into the stomach passing through the esophagus.